Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 19, Shloka 26. Please repeat. Ye Shraddhaya Barhishi Bhagacho Havir Niruktamishtam Vidhi Mantra Vastutaha Yeka Pradhanama Virahuto Muda Granati Purna Swayamashisham Prabhu. Yea, by whom the inhabitants of Bharatavarsha, Shraddhaya, faith and confidence, Barhishi, in the performance of Vedic ritualistic sacrifices, Bhagashaha, by division, Havihi, oblations, Niruktam, offered, Ishtam, to the desired deity, Vidhi, by the proper method, Mantra, by reciting mantras, Vastutaha, with proper ingredients, Ekaha, that one Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vidak, separate, Nama Bihi, my names, Ahutaha, called, Muda, with great happiness, Granati, he accepts, Purnaha, the Supreme Lord, who is full in himself, Swayam, personally, Ashisham, of all benedictions, Prabhu, the bestower. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. In India, Bharatavarsha, there are many worshippers of the demigods, the various officials appointed by the Supreme Lord, such as Indra, Chandra, and Surya, all of whom are worshipped differently. The worshippers offer the demigods their oblations, considering the demigods part and parcel of the whole, the Supreme Lord. Therefore, the Supreme Personality of Godhead accepts these offerings and gradually raises the worshippers to the real standard of devotional service by fulfilling their desires and aspirations. Because the Lord is complete, He offers the worshippers the benedictions they desire, even if they worship only part of His transcendental body. Please repeat. In India, Bharatavarsha, there are many worshippers of the demigods. The various officials appointed by the Supreme Lord, such as Indra, Chandra, and Surya, all of whom are worshipped differently. The worshippers offer the demigods their oblations, considering the demigods part and parcel of the whole, the Supreme Lord. Therefore, the Supreme Personality of Godhead accepts these offerings and gradually raises the worshippers to the real standard of devotional service by fulfilling their desires and aspirations. Because the Lord is complete, He offers the worshippers the benedictions they desire, even if they worship only part of His transcendental body. Purport. In Bhagavad Gita, 9 chapter 13 verse, Lord Krishna says, Mahatmanastu mamparda daivim prakritim ashrita bhajanti ananya manaso gnatva bhutadim avyayam. O son of Kruda, those who are not deluded, the great souls, are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. Mahatmas, advanced devotees, worship only the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Others, however, who are also sometimes called Mahatmas, worship the Lord as Ekatva Kritatvena. 9:15. In other words, they accept the demigods as different parts of Krishna and worship them for various benedictions. Although the devotees of the demigods thus achieve the desired results offered by Krishna, they have been considered in Bhagavad Gita as Kritagna. Bhagavad Gita 7:20. Not very intelligent. Krishna does not desire to be worshipped indirectly through the parts of his body, different parts of his body. Krishna wants direct devotional worship. Therefore, a devotee who directly worships Lord Krishna through staunch devotional service, as recommended in Srimad Bhagavatam, Tivrena Bhakti Yogena Yajeta Purusha Param, Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd canto, 3rd chapter, 10th sloka, is very quickly elevated to the transcendental position. Nevertheless, devotees who worship the demigods, the different parts of the Lord, receive the benedictions they desire, because the Lord is the original master of all benedictions. If anyone wants a particular benediction for the Lord to award, it is not at all difficult. Om Ajnanatimirantasya Gnananjana Chakchume Nilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakada Mahyan Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamsya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamsya He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Krupa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Itinamine Namaste Saraswatdeve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasyata Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for attending this Srimad Bhagavatam class. Today is very auspicious day, disappearance day of Srila Gaurakishore Das Babaji Maharaj. And on this auspicious day, definitely it's very great fortune to discuss about the topics of Supreme Personality of Godhead. And of course, Gopāl has mentioned about the pure devotees of the Lord also, who does not take shelter of anyone else other than Krishna. And Babaji Maharaj, Srila Gaurakishore Das Babaji Maharaj is one such kind of personality, and who has taught us how one can unflinchingly worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead without any tinge of material hankering. And okay, let's go into the topic of this day. Here, if we see, these are all spoken by Devatas. When we start this topic, right, Bharata Varsha 1, around 20th sloka, now we are in 26th. So in Bhagavatam, there it has been started by demigods themselves, saying that who are heavenly residents, saying about how fortunate the land of Bharata Varsha and whoever staying there and whoever got birth there. Yesterday we got beautiful notes from Sundar Gopal Prabhu about how fortunate to get a birth in Bharata Varsha. And people, even with small tinge of faith on Supreme Personality of Godhead, they will reach back to home, back to Godhead. And now, here, yesterday, a part of deviant path, although people who take birth in the land of Bharata Varsha, they just get diverted because of Karma Kanda, Gnana Kanda and atheism, and they could not able to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead in full. Because of that, they get hijacked by hunter again, and then they will go back to this birth and death again. That's what has been explained. That can happen through this demigod worship. That is the thing. Karma Kanda, Gnana Kanda only applies to demigod worship. Whereas when it comes to the Krishna, it is Bhakti Yoga. That's why when I was reading one song called Anadi Karma Phale, Bhaktivinoda Thakur very nicely explained in that, if you see, okay, I don't know if this will be shared in, okay, I'll share full screen. Yeah. Gnana karma tagadui mora parit. Let's see. Oh, why like that? Yeah. So in this song, if we see, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, Gnana karma pagadui mora parityayaloi avashesha pele sindhu jale. So when you are traveling on a highway, many of us know, especially in India and all these big countries, you will be get hijacked by robbers. So this human being birth is traveling on a highway, whereas you can reach very quickly to the Supreme Personality of Godhead by getting bhakti towards it. But in between, you will also get hijacked by these robbers, two robbers called Gnana and Karma. Because of this, the two highway robbers, mental speculation and fruitive activity, have cheated me and misled me. And finally, they are throwing me into the ocean of misery. At such a time, my dear Krishna, you are only friend, and you are the ocean of mercy and compassion. I have no strength to get out of this ocean of nuisance. So I pray to your lotus feet that you will be kind, and by your strength uplift me from this ocean of suffering. Basically, the problem here which is mentioned is any demigod worshipper who is thinking that he can go back to his home is myth. Only one who worships Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he only can reach the Param Drishtva Nivartate. Sorry, Taddamam Paramam Mama. So he only can reach to the Supreme Abode. Sorry. So this is one point. Apart from that, in Bhagavatam itself, it has been told at many places that demigod worship is condemned, although it is allowed. See, when we do something, no, there are three things. One is called karma, another is called vikarma, and one more is called akarma. Whatever you do for other than Krishna, for your fruitive activity, but which are recommended in Vedas, like right now, like demigod worshippers. Here, few names has been mentioned, but it is including Shiva, Brahma, Durga, any kind of demigod worshipper. And why we are telling any kind of demigod worshipper in that category, we are including everyone, is because of the reason they are all the Gunavatars of Krishna. Though Vishnu also came in that category, but Bhagavatam itself is saying the avatar which is in Sattva Guna, you can worship. All the ghastly forms of demigod rupas has been 326. So this one, he say, you need to worship Vishnu. Although Brahma and Shiva are Guna avatars. Oh, no. 226. Yeah. Sorry, sir. My mouse struck. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Mumukshuh Ghora Rupan Hitva Bhuta Patin Ata Narayana Kalashanta Bhajantihi Anusuyava. Those who are serious about liberation, that's the thing. If you don't want liberation and you want get into the birth and death again and again, you go with any god worship. It's up to you. But if you are serious about liberation and you don't want to take birth again, then you must come to this realization. Those who are serious about liberation are certainly non-envious, and they respect all. Yet they reject the horrible and ghastly forms of all the demigods and worship only the blissful forms of Lord Vishnu and his plenary portions. This is the thing. So, if we carefully observe, anybody who is into the demigod worship will go into the mode of passion and ignorance only. And basic Bhagavad Gita, if we see also, it has been said that because of Kanchanja Karmanam Siddha Yajantihi Iha Devataha. My mouse. Oh. Shikram hi manushe loke siddhir bhavati karmaja. Why people go with demigod worship? Despite of it is condemned and not liked by Krishna. Later we can see in 9th chapter 23rd shloka also, though we worship various kind of forms of demigods, Krishna is saying that it is avidhi purakam. They are doing in a wrong way. Men in this world, here 4:12, men in this world desire success in fruitive activities, and therefore they worship the demigods. This is the problem. If you want to be going to the karma kanda and gnana kanda, as we told the highway robbers, you can go into this demigod worship and end up by getting what do you say? By getting birth again and again. Quickly, of course, men get results from fruitive work in this world. See, if you want something really which is valuable and which is never ending and which is eternal, you must also work for it accordingly. Something which comes quick will go also quick. This is something that we need to know. But when it comes to Krishna consciousness, the thing is that day also, I'm like Tatet Prabhu made one shot. The impossible triangle has become possible with Krishna consciousness, and especially because of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What is this impossible triangle? When you see any product in the market, if you want good quality, and if you want in good price, and if you want in quick time, these three will not happen. If you are getting a good quality product, then it will take time and it will take more money. And all other combinations are like only two things will be achieved. But when it comes to Krishna consciousness, all three are quickly achieved. That you are doing this Hare Krishna Mahamantra Japa, which is highly simple compared to all other methods. Nama Japa is the best method. And especially it has been recommended in many places in Bhagavatam. For example, 12th canto, 3rd chapter, it has been clearly told, Kalo dosha nideraja, ahato yasya ekat mahadguna, kirtana deva krishnasya mukta sangha param vijay. Although this yuga is with ocean of faults, but there is one thing which is very valuable and which is very interesting. That is kirtana deva krishnasya. Names, holy names, chanting of Krishna holy name. And then Mukta Saranga Param Vijay. By this only you will get the liberation, basically. That way, if we see, this impossible triangle became possible because of Krishna consciousness. It is very simple and it is coming quickly. Even Eka Krishna Nama, one holy name also can do Sarva Papakshaya. All your sins will be eradicated by just chanting one time holy name without any offenses. Shravanadi Suddha Chitte. And when you, this is another part of it. So, when you do this Shravana and Kirtana, the Krishna Prema will come automatically, which is there inside you itself. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Khavu. Shravanadi Suddha Chitte Karyavu. So, this way, if we see, this one devotional process will fulfill all 9 devotional process, and then it is even greater than any other process. And now this impossible triangle has become possible, right? And when it comes to the other things, Though you show the Shraddha, if you see in today's shloka also, the Shraddha word has been used. Yes, Shraddhaya. But this Shraddha, if you are not showing to other than Krishna, the problem has been mentioned here. 9.3. Ashraddhadhana Purusha Dharmasyasya Parantapa Aprapyamam Nivartante Mrityu Samsara Vartmani. The Shraddha is called as Ashraddha as soon as you are not showing on Krishna. And the result of it is this. Those who are not faithful in this devotional service cannot attain me, cannot attain Krishna. Krishna is speaking this verse. O conqueror of enemies, therefore they return to the path of birth and death in this material world. This is the problem. And exactly today's point, which has been mentioned, like indirectly, Krishna is only the one benedicting. And one more thing he told is, they are worshipping in a wrong way by worshipping the parts of his transcendental body. This has been stressed in 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita as Yepyanya devata bhakta yajante shraddhayanvita tepyamameva kaunteya yajantihi avidhi purvakam. Vidhi. Just now today also we saw one word called vidhi, according to the rules and regulations. Avidhi, not according to the rules and regulations, which means it is wrong. Avidhi purvakam. What is that avidhi purvakam? Those who are devotees of the other gods and who worship them with faith actually worship only me, because everyone is transcendental part of the transcendental body of Krishna. Who worship them with faith actually worship only me, O son of Kunti, but they do so in a wrong way. This is the problem. And in 7th chapter, he started this topic about that from 7:20. If you see, in fact, Prabhupada mentioned this point in today's verse also. Perfect. Kamasteste kritagnana. Kritagnana means one who are having very less intelligence. Alpa Medasa also. Their intelligence has been hijacked literally. Same like robbers hijacking in the highway. Prapadyanta anna devata. Tamtam niyamam astaya prakrutya nihata swaya. Those whose intelligence has been stolen by material desires. Whose intelligence has been stolen by material desires, surrender unto demigods and follow the particular rules and regulations of worship according to their own natures. But the problem is, if you see further verses, who is increasing their faith also? Krishna is telling here. Yo yo yam yam tanum bhakta shraddhayarchitum ichhati tasya tasya chalam shraddhan tam eva vididam yaham. I am in everyone's heart as the super soul. As soon as one desires to worship some demigod, I make his faith steady so that he can devote himself to that particular deity. He does not only make faith steady for demigod worshipper, he even make faith steady even for atheist also. For atheist also, super soul is only sitting. So he is the one making the faith strong. This is the thing. Child is so naughty that he don't want to come to the father. Then father is only arranging to agree like that. Many times we see in this material world also, when we abandon parents, we don't like to see their faces and all. Parents are so loving their kids, saying that they also don't want to show their face willingly and happily. And they give all their properties to the kid. If you are thinking that this can happen for this one life mother, father, why Krishna is not doing that? So he is only the one who is giving everything for us, but at the same time, he is only fulfilling everything. Eko bahudam bahudanam vidudhati khaman. He is the one fulfilling desires of everyone. Endowed with such a faith, he endeavors to worship a particular demigod and obtains the desires. but in actuality, these benefits are bestowed by me alone. This is the point. Again, it has been mentioned even in today's shloka. And again, he is stressing that point. Though they are doing antavattu phalam tesham tadbhavat alpamedasam devan deva yajo yanti madbhakta yanti mamapi. What is the difference? Men of small intelligence worship the demigods and their fruits are limited and temporary. Those who worship the demigods go to the planets of the demigods, but my devotees ultimately reach my supreme planet. The thing is that when you reach Krishna planet and when you reach other planets, the difference is that, as it has been said in 8th chapter, 16th shloka of Bhagavad Gita, Abrahma Bhuvanar Lokar Punaravartino Arjuna. Mamupetyantu Kavanteya Punarjanma. So basically, when you go to Krishna planet, there is no suffering anymore. Vaikunta, Vigadas Kunta Esma. There is no anxiety anymore of birth, death, old age, and disease. Simply you are serving the Lord. If you go to 3rd canto, 13th chapter, whereas nicely it has been explained about the Vaikunta Loka and how each and everyone are with Nirmatsara. So everyone is cooperating with each other in serving the Lord. That's the way things will work. But whereas here, unintelligent man who do not know me perfectly think that I, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, was impersonal. This one what? This one, next one is okay. No. So this way, people worshipping Krishna, people worshipping demigods are getting cheated. It's not Krishna is the one cheating. It's the one, his energy called Maya. When you see about Maya, there are two energies. Avarnatmika Shakti, Prakshepatmika Shakti. Avarana, when we say covering, even Megal Avarinchunna in Telugu, we say like that. That means covering. So Krishna covers you. If you are thinking that I don't want to go to Krishna, he covers you. You want to go to temple, some friend will tell, oh, temple is waste of time, boring. Let's go for business, or let's go for some pub, bar, cinema. Like this, it will happen. And Prakshepatmika Shakti. Prakshepatmika Shakti is pulling back, and Avarnatmika Shakti is saying that there is nothing much in Krishna worship. Covering. So this way, you will be covered by this demigod worship. But still, it has been said that one who has these desires, still, if they go to Krishna, they are fortunate. And Prabhupada also mentioned in today's verse, 2nd canto, 3rd chapter. But if you see from 1st verse of that 2nd canto, 3rd chapter, it has been recommended to worship various demigods for various desires. But at the end, the conclusion is very nice. This is 2nd verse to 7th verse. Oh my God. So you can read later, but whereas it has been said that one who desires to be observed in impersonal Brahmajyoti effulgence should worship the master of Vedas, Lord Brahma or Bruhaspati, the learned priest. And one who desires beautiful wife, or one who desires strength, like this various demigod worship has been recommended. But if you see the further shlokas, Dharmartha Uttama Shlokam Tantuhu Tanman Pitrun Yajet Raksha Kamaha Punya Janan Ojas Kamo Marud Ganan. So this also again telling about worshipping Vishnu. One should worship Lord Vishnu or his devotee for spiritual advancement in knowledge. And for protection of heredity and advancement of a dynasty, one should worship the various demigods. One who desires domination over the kingdom or an empire should worship the Manus. One who desires, because Manus are the one ruling here. One who desires victory over enemy should worship the demons, and one who desires sense gratification should worship the moon, Soma. Even in Bhagavad Gita also, in 9th chapter, it has been mentioned clearly. But one who desires nothing of material enjoyment should worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Akinchana. And finally, it has been said, even if you have material desires, or even if you have moksha kama, or even if you don't have any material desires, you can do this. This is the best. Akama sarvakama moksha kama va moksha kama udaridhi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham parama. That parama purusha, Krishna, a person who has broader intelligence, whether he be full of material desire, without any material desire, or desiring liberation, must by all means worship the Supreme Whole, the personality of God. When we see closely the moods of pure devotees, they never offended any demigod. In fact, they worshipped also, but their mood is different. When we see Bharat Maharaj, and even recently when I was reading 7th canto, 10th chapter, Prahlad Maharaj, after Narsimha left to his planet, he personally worshipped Shiva, he personally worshipped all the demigods who came there when Narsimha has appeared. But when we go through those slokas, it has been clearly evident that he worshipped them as the part and parcels of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as the servants of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But when we see Bharat Maharaj's mood, he did the same yajnas in this way. Yeah, this one. He has full consciousness of Krishna. 576. After performing the preliminaries of various sacrifices, Maharaja Bharata offered the results in the name of religion to Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. In other words, he performed all the yajnas for the satisfaction of Lord Vasudeva, Krishna. Maharaja Bharata thought that since the demigods were different parts of Vasudeva's body, he controls those who are explained in the Vedic mantras. By thinking in this way, Maharaja Bharata was freed from all material contamination, such as attachment, lust, and greed. When the priests were about to offer the sacrificial ingredients into the fire, Maharaja Bharata expectantly understood how the offering made to different demigods was simply an offering to the different limbs of the Lord. For instance, Indra is the arm of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Surya is his eye, even Chandra also. Thus, Maharaja Bharata considered that the oblations offered to different demigods were actually offered unto the different limbs of Lord Vasudeva. That's why Krishna is boldly declaring that I am the one benedictor for all these sacrifices. Aham hi sarva yagnanam bhokta cha prabhurevacha natumam abhijananti tatve tantas chayantite tatve natas Chavantite. I am the only enjoyer and master of all sacrifices. Therefore, those who do not recognize my true transcendental nature fall down. This is the fall down, that is nothing but getting birth and death again. That's why when you are driving on highway, especially when you have the valuable treasure, you must go with the guards. You must go with the guards is guard of devotional service under the shelter of the pure devotee. Then you will not be get hijacked by this karma kanda and gnana kanda, and then you will not get deviated into the path of birth and demigod worship and get birth and death again and again. So the essence of all Vedas, though it has recommended various demigod worshippers, is to come out of that. Yesterday, Prabhu was showing 244, right? Then if you see just next loka, Krishna himself is saying, Traigunya Vishaya Vedo, Nistraigunya Bhavarjuna, Nirdvando Nitya Sattvasto, Niryoga Shema Atmaman. The Vedas deal mainly with the subject of three modes of material nature. Three modes of material nature and demigods. Because everybody other than Krishna is under these three modes of material nature. In 10th chapter and 18th chapter, he clearly mentioned Bhagavad Gita. So the Vedas deal mainly with the subject of the three modes of material nature. O Arjuna, become transcendental to these three modes. Be free from all dualities and from all anxieties for gain and safety, and be established in the self. Krishna himself is saying to do this. But if we see, when Krishna was telling all this, then Arjuna got the doubt how that kind of person behaves, who has this knowledge. Then Krishna was explaining all the qualities of Sthitaprajna. But all this kama, krodha, or any desires that we are getting because of this rajoguna, kama yesha, krodha yesha, rajoguna samudbhava, mahashana mahabhavatma, vidhi evi vairana, which are your biggest enemies, can be curbed and controlled by chanting the holy name. If you see from third chapter, 37 sloka of Bhagavad Gita, further and further, when Arjuna asked this question of why I could not able to stop my activities, though I know it is wrong, many times, he is asking on behalf of all of us. When Krishna told lust is your biggest enemy, he is giving even solution in further slokas. Especially, he is telling various degrees of lust, but therefore, O Arjuna, best of Bharatas, in the very beginning, curb this great symbol of sin, lust, by regulating the senses, and slay this destroyer of knowledge and self-realization. That self-realization which curbs this lust has been explained as chanting the holy name of the Lord, devotional service unto the Lord. Nonetheless, Krishna consciousness is so powerful that even a late beginner can become a lover of God by following the regulative principles of devotional service. So, from any stage of life or from the time of understanding its urgency, one can begin regulating the senses in Krishna consciousness. Because without Krishna consciousness, you cannot control your senses, which are like snake. Whereas, if you see, when there is a snake going on, you put your leg on it to control it. The moment you take out leg, it will bite you. Traveling on a tiger, I'm like riding a tiger, is like you get down, tiger will eat you. So when you are trying to ride with the chariot of mind and you want to control senses, definitely you will be cursed by those senses only and attacked by those senses only. And that sense gratification, if you are trying to put butter in the fire, then you can never make it burn. But there is one more method. The fire, when the immense butter falls, ghee falls, the fire will stop. And that kind of thing is coming to Krishna consciousness. Though you have lusty desires, or though you are full of desires, when you come to Krishna, as it has been said in 5:19:27, he will make in such a way that you will not ask this again and again. This is just further slokas only, next sloka, but we'll just see the translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead fulfills the material desires of a devotee who approaches him with such motives, but he does not bestow benedictions upon the devotee that will cause him to demand more benedictions again. However, the Lord willingly gives the devotee shelter at his own lotus feet, even though such a person does not aspire for it. And that shelter satisfies all these desires. That is Supreme Personality of Godhead's special mercy. This way, he will make you control. That's why better to come to Supreme Personality of Godhead, even though you have a menial desire. Though it is not pure devotional service, but quickly by Krishna consciousness, you will elevate into the pure devotional service because of in contact with pure devotees. And Okay. When we go to this demigod worship, one more biggest danger is that you will be covered, right? But this covering, many people says, as far as my desires are getting fulfilled, why I should bother? There is something called Shreya and Preya. One is quickly satisfied and another is Shreya, which gives the ultimate satisfaction or ultimate bestow the benediction. So when you want quick desire and you want to get doomed yourself and discharge yourself, all your bank balance you are burning in the name of karma. One who is intelligent only invest more and more and make it as unlimited. One who is only fool only will burn that and will not become like a beggar. Like in Telugu, we call it as appu chesi pappu kudu. That means even by beg, borrow or steal, you will live very happily. So this is not correct way. Human life, when you got after many births, you need to go towards Krishna. That's why when I was reading 5th canto, in the book, right, for every canto, first page, they were giving one important sloka out of that entire canto. In 5th canto, it has been mentioned this sloka. Nayam deho deha bhajo, nuloke kastan kaman naharati vidbhujam ye. Tapodivyam putrakaryena sattvam shuddhe tasmat brahma saukyantu anantam. What you need to do as a human being? Lord Rishabhdeva told his sons, my dear boys, of all living entities who have accepted material bodies in this world, one who has been awarded this human form should not work hard day and night simply for sense gratification, which is available even for dogs and for hawks that eat stew. When we read Acharya's songs with purpose, everywhere, this is the thing. Basically, when we were about to born, we promised to Krishna in the womb that I will worship you. This time I will not waste my life. But again, after coming out, we are doing the same thing. One more Bhaktivinoda Thakur song. Buliya tumhare samsare ashiya pe nana vyada. So by forgetting, again we are coming into this samsara vyada and paying again and again. This is the problem. One should engage in penance and austerity to attain divine position of devotional service. When you are worshipping a demigod, frankly to say, still you need to follow some rules and regulations. We are trying to say, follow the same. But you are trying to get more than what you are spending. There you are burning. Basically, demigods only bestow according to your karma. They are attendants of your karma. In fact, in devotional service, by such activity, one's heart is purified. And when one attains this position, he attains eternal blissful life, which is transcendental to material happiness and which continues forever. That's why in Bhagavad Gita itself, Krishna was saying, though you worship demigod, at first he was saying, Yagnarda karmanya yatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha. Right? Tatardam karma kaunteya mukta sangha samachana. Though you are doing karma, work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed. Otherwise, work causes bondage in this material world. Therefore, O son of Kunti, perform your prescribed duties for his satisfaction, and in that way, you will always remain free from bondage. No, still you are not feeling okay. He is explaining how the system works. Sahegna praja srishtva puro vacha prajapatihi anena prashivishyadvam eshavo stva ishtakamadu. Whatever of all desirable things bestower. How? In the beginning of creation, the Lord of all creatures sent 4 generations of men and demigods along with sacrifices for Vishnu and blessed them by saying, be thou happy by this yajna because it performs its performance will bestow upon you everything desirable for living happily and achieve liberation. The biggest problem in the society, especially with demigod worshippers, are, and those who are allowing that, the pujaris and all, when they say dharmartha kama moksha phalasiddhartham, but they will not speak about moksha at all. Dharma, artha, kama. In fact, in that also, they will not speak about what is real dharma, kaitava dharma, artha, kama. Moksha part also they don't speak. In fact, at least if they speak, moksha part is also in. But more than that is prema pumardha mahan. Panchama purushartha is what? Getting the love of Godhead through pure devotional service and through pure devotees. But still we are not having, it's like this. A child does not want to stay at home. He will not, their father and mother will not let him to go and live on the road. At least they will arrange something for their satisfaction. Just like buying a property for them, or if they have any other property, okay, this is also my home only, you go stay there. This way, they will try to facilitate their kids. The same way, Krishna also facilitated us when we want other than Krishna. By creating the demigods, by creating the process of sacrifice, and by fulfilling the desires through the sacrifice. But next, he's saying further, Devan bhava yetenena te deva bhavayanto va parasparam bhavayantaha shreya param avapsyataha. Shreya param. The demigods, being pleased by sacrifice, will also please you. This is exchange, you see. Being pleased by sacrifice will also please you. Recently, Vishwambar Prabhu was speaking about Gordhan Leela in our 5th floor with kids. I just got a small bite from it. Krishna did not like the demigod worship, especially by his pure devotees. This cheap demigod worship, he did not like. He condemned it. He made them stop. Why he is not allowing us to stop? Just because we are not pure devotees, frankly. In other words, if we are still doing the demigod worship, then we don't want pure devotional service. Will also please you, and thus by cooperation between men and demigods, prosperity will reign for all. That cooperation is nothing but the mood of Bharat Maharaj. Indra will automatically send the rains when you satisfy Krishna through yajna. And in that, when you satisfy through yajna, which is the mouth, through that, when you give the oblations, it will go automatically to the hand. Indra is hand. That's why it has been clearly told by Narada Muni as follows. Yatatarormula nishechanena trupyanti tatskanda bhujopashakaha pranopaharascha yatendriyanam tataiva sarvahanam achyuteja. You see, sarva arahanam achyuteja. Achyuta is none other than Krishna. As pouring water on the root of a tree energizes the trunk, branches, twigs, and everything else, and as supplying food to the stomach enlivens the senses and limbs of the body, simply worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead through devotional service automatically satisfies the demigods, who are parts of that Supreme Personality. This is the thing that we need to do. When we worship Krishna, automatically everything satisfies. Yasmin tuste sarvameva tuste. He even proved that also. When Krishna had just one grain from Akshay Patra, in the episode of Durvasa Muni from Mahabharata, he automatically satisfied every sage who came there. Every sage who came there. So, he proved by practical example, and the Shastra is also saying that the best thing that we can do is worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead in this life. I think we'll conclude here. And if any more things to add, we can go further. What do you mean? One second. In our Sanatana culture, and we worship Param Brahma and Sadananda Chitya as the supreme power of metaverse. So please correct the using demigod verse. Demigod word first. The demigod word given by Western countries. Oh, Jai Shri Radha Madan Mohan ki Jai. Kindly don't put this type of words in our Sanatan culture. What? Okay, what is the word that you can give in English? If not demigod, what is the word that you can give? Devata is not English word, no? Dharma also doesn't have English word. Then what you will give? So, basically, they need to understand what is the reason behind it. Whether we call demigod word or not, they are devatas who are part and parcel of Krishna, and which has been clearly evident even from today's shlokas also. And that if you don't want to call demigod, you call devata. We are calling demigod, no problem. But ultimately, they are servants of Krishna. That is the realization that we should have. Aspect of the Supreme. Param Brahma is not Supreme, by the way. Param Brahma is one of the aspect of the Supreme. And that Param Brahma is Krishna. Arjuna has addressed Krishna as Param Brahma, Param Dhamma, Pavitram, Paramam Bhava. So please, when you are saying that, first read Bhagavad Gita, at least. 11 to 47 per part, we are showing you. Demigods themselves are attendant of karma. Oh, okay. Srila Madhvacharya is saying like this: Vishnur upekshakam sarve vidvishanti adhikam suraha patatya avasyam tamasi harina testa cha patitaha. All the demigods are extremely inimical to one who does not respect Lord Vishnu. Such a person is pushed into the darkest regions by the Lord as well as by the demigods. Okay. But the complaint is why we are calling demigods. That's the English word. That, yeah. They are servitors, sub. So Krishna is here now. Everyone will know after the weekend. Why weekend? Now only. Now. 24? 3. Vasudevam parityajyayo anyadevam upasate swamataram parityajya swapachin vandatehi saha. A person who worships the demigods and gives up Lord Vasudeva is like a man who gives up the protection of his mother for the shelter of a witch. And in fact, in 5:18:20 also, Lakshmi herself is saying, you are the protector and one who is a fool who leaves you and go into other protection. In fact, including demigod. When you see Ramayana, Indra promised second time to distract Vishwamitra, I will protect you at any cost. Go and distract him. Menaka. When Vishwamitra burnt, Indra was the one first to ran away because he knows that if he sees Indra also, he will burn him also. That much. (11, 18, 40). Yeah. This man taking sannyasa is going to surpass us and go back home, back to Godhead. Thus, thinking the demigods create stumbling blocks on the path of the sannyasa. dāsa by appearing before him in the shape of his former wife or other women and attractive objects. But the sannyasi should pay the demigods and their mentioned manifestations no heed. So, if you are going into this demigod worship, they also put and come and put obstacles. Yeah. In fact, that way to see, out of many demigods, hardly this one Muktanam api Siddhanam Vasudeva Parayanaha in that purport. What is the shloka number? 6, 4, 10, 14. Sukadeva Goswami is saying, in that purport, if you see, out of many demigods, hardly they also know that Krishna is the supreme. There are 90 million demigods and 70 million sages who are called Narayanaya, devotees of Lord Narayana. Among them, only a few are called Narayana Parayana. Many of them don't know that Narayana is the supreme. Then how they will help you? Few devotees. So the stumbling blocks put by the demigods act as the test for the devotee. They are also again in service of Krishna, just like Maya is testing us very strongly that how we are determined to serve Krishna. In the same way, all other demigods also try to give many things in between when we are trying to do Krishna consciousness. But if we still don't distract and go towards Krishna only, we will get the ultimate result. Yeah. The demigods place many obstacles on the path of those who worship you to transcend the temporary abodes of the demigods and reach your supreme abode. Those who offer the demigods their assigned shares in sacrificial performances encounter no such obstacles. Few devotees do this. But because you are the direct protector of your devotee, he is able to step over the head of whatever obstacle the demigods place before them. Yes. He in fact went through the war and all, and Vishnu Puran. When he is doing the tapasya, 6 months. Leave him alone. But in another way, demigods even helps us also. In Pandava's case, they help by giving Akshay Patra, they help by giving the chariot, they help by giving the Astra. Son. Not only that, because of worshipping Krishna. Yes. So you quoted at 10:21 8, I guess, in the Govardhan Puja one. That why still Krishna forgive Indra? Yeah. Someone saying 1 to 28, 29. Okay, this is that one Sattva. Okay. Next verse. This Vasudeva Para Veda, Vasudeva Para Makha, Vasudeva Para Yoga. Okay. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, श्रील गौर किशोर दास बाबा जी महाराज की जय.